now.
Can I say?
Jar machine.
Listen, we had it on last night.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone. Committee meetings. Over 14 from. Start off with County Services Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to open up county services at 6:02. And first up, before we get into the action items, Carol, come up.
Actually, I think it's Kyra, stay back, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh, now be nice, be nice. I have one slide, but I can't see it very well since I can't really see it, but I'll tell you what it says. It says trouble ahead, so everybody's clear, there's trouble ahead. Now the slide says I have 4 problems that are coming at me, but I fibbed because now I have 5 problems coming at me. So let's start with heap or no heap. The government shut down, so I have no idea about heap. So at this point, the state sent out 980 applications pretending there's going to be a heap season. We got 390 of those back. But if there is no heap season, there's no heap, and that means it'll be emergency assistance under public assistance. So that is a 45-minute interview, and all your resources are looked at.
All your income resources.
45 minutes per applicant.
Per applicant.
Kyra, did we take, like last year's applicants that received heat and maybe inform them of that this might not be,
No,
happening this year?
no, we did not do that. As a matter of fact, the state sent out the applications basically pretending that this is going to happen. So it wasn't our money, it wasn't our program, it's purely federal dollars that come to the state and the state gives it to the counties. So that's the first problem. So just to let you know, there was 2,499 of those cases for last year. So the next problem I have is daycare allocation. My allocation is 531 and change from October to September. I'm currently spending over 132,000 per month. Obviously, I'm not going to make it very far. So we've been closing cases since October. The calls we're getting in right now is very sad. Some of those cases, they were currently homeless clients. They found permanent housing, they're working. Without the daycare dollars, they will have to stop working, they will become homeless again. We're going to a fair hearing on one of those cases, but there's no money. So basically, clients only on public assistance will be getting daycare. Third problem is code blue, what's going to happen? Great question. I think about that every single night. At this point, we most likely will be using this building downstairs with 2 uniformed officers. Clients will be sitting in chairs. That's what we have. Number 4, the SNAP ABOD rules, the waiver was pulled officially on the 2nd.
Could you explain the acronym?
Yeah, here. So it's the SNAP, the food stamp benefits. ABOD is able-bodied adults without dependents. The state has had a waiver for many years, except for the county of Saratoga. So that means everybody else, including New York City, clients did not have to engage in work. So there's 2 sets of clients running at the same time. They're the ones who are the current ABODs, and it's the new rule changes that we're looking at. So every new application from 11/1 on, we'll be looking at the new rules. And then I have 178 in the old rules. They will have to comply. The first reportable month will be December. They get 3 free months. And after that, there's no more SNAP benefits.
That's actually good news.
It's
Putting them to work.
If they're able-bodied and they're not working, I think that's good news. I don't take that as a negative at all.
so, there's lots of work for us to do that with the rules, so it's not as easy as that looks. The 5th thing that's not up there is, unfortunately, if the government doesn't reopen, there will not be money to fund the SNAP benefit for November. There's 42 million across the nation. We have, let's see, 3,693.
Of those, what was, did you say 6,300?
3,690.
Of those, how many are under that category?
I have 178, then probably another 450 we're thinking, but we need to look at every application.
Maybe approximately 600 of that.
Yeah, so the
600?
majority of those people are working. So those are the problems coming, lots of phone calls, lots of, in my AI project for Eva, when I look at the calls, many of those regarding heat.
Kyra, just a quick question. Did anything change within the requirements that now require 80 hours a month as opposed to 40? I think
So the work requirements, and it becomes a little complicated what people need to do, but you have to work or participate in qualifying employment, education, training program activity for at least 80 hours per month, or, and here's the or, comply with a work experience program, assignment, or volunteer for a number of hours per month equal to a household SNAP benefit divided by the higher of the federal or state minimum wage. So every case needs to be looked at individually. What are they doing? What's the minimum wage? How we calculate it? How many hours? So that's why there's not a black and white answer for every single case. So it depends on what it looks like.
Is there any agency that actually can direct them to places to find work, we have.
So we have a team downstairs where we're trying to do that. Obviously, I made this office building a CWEB site so people can get their hours. I mean, you drive around the neighborhood, there's help wanted signs all over, at least here in Greene County. So it seems like we certainly have enough work. The problem is going to be transportation to get there and to keep those jobs.
Have you spoke to the team in the workforce development about whether it's for training or any opportunities that might be available for them?
I heard they moved in, but I haven't seen them. But they don't do all the work that we do per se. They're working with a little different population. Any other questions?
Thank you. And Amanda, you're all set?
Yeah, just a reminder that honor event is gonna be November 1st at 10:30 in the morning. Or I know a reminder will go out sooner too, but I just let everybody know.
Sherry, may I ask a couple of questions? So, Amanda, any idea when are we moving into Marshall and Sterling?
I don't have a time frame right now. I was there today. The building was cleaned on Thursday and Friday. The rugs were shampooed. I met with our directors for veterans. They are gonna start moving some files and things that can easily be ported over that they don't need in their offices right now. Last I understood, there were some issues with getting the IT infrastructure to the
Right.
building, right?
Fiber.
The fiber, but the cable is not currently connected there. So, we're just IT at this point. It's. what we're-
It's an insurance company, they did that building.
Well, we had to change vendors.
Yeah, they had a
So I
different
had to go through the
vendor.
whole process of them coming out. And we use Mid Hudson, they use
Newcastle.
First Light, or I'm sorry,
Newcastle.
Newcastle. There had to be some changeover. It's not just throwing a switch that easily.
So what is the time schedule?
I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks.
So when is the
For them
lease?
to-
Gonna have to move management portion of it, because I gotta move out of the medical arts building, those personnel, as well as then those individuals at the current mental health building. There's some logistics there, but, I would think by the end of the month, we should be okay.
Is there plans for that sign to be changed for the Marshall and Sterling sign? Is that coming down?
One at the top of the driveway was taken down already, and I put the sign on the one that's lit with the reader board. I know an email exchange is already out with the sign company, but it's a state contract. We haven't heard back from the vendor.
But that is coming down. That's,
The
That's the main
structure's
thing,
not
right.
coming down,
No,
it'll
but-
be renamed.
yeah, anything referencing Marshall and Sterling will be coming down.
No. No, part of the agreement was we would move a sign with their name with a movement that moves to, Latham or wherever, that address.
That's in the contract, or
Yes.
is that a verbal, or how is that worked out?
In the deed, there's a reservation for them to maintain a sign. At the closing, we had them and their attorney initial the map where the sign will be relocated to. The purpose of the sign is to announce that they are now in a different location. But it's not gonna be right in front of our building. It's actually gonna be out towards the road on the corner, where the service road from the highway or the exit ramp
Mhm.
meets the main road, right in front of it.
And what's the time period on that, that it's supposed to stay there?
We're still working that out with them, but we're hoping to, get it done as quickly as possible. It's gonna require the running of an electrical line, but there is a junction box, in the ground very close to it, so we should be able to get it done.
How long does that stay up?
Yeah, Tom, what I mean, like how long, so once that sign is moved out there
It's gonna be there
for like indefinite, it's gonna be at that location, that corner?
until they decide otherwise.
On the deed.
On the deed is that reservation.
So who decided, you guys decided to put that into the deed, or how is that all worked out? I can see that as a potential conflict, one for other businesses in the area. Maybe we should consider renting out real estate on the property to advertise other local businesses. And two, it could potentially be confusing for people that may be paying bills to Marshall and Sterling, then come into the building when they may have clients or veterans in there, and it could be a potential privacy
They're
issue.
already going there. They're already going there.
Yeah,
They're
so,
still going.
Yeah, we had 4 visitors in the 2.5 days that I was there.
so am I the only one that thinks that?
I think if it's a big sign, just say Marshall and Sterling moved to whatever location, then that will stop. people
We
from
just
going
have
to
to
there.
let them know it's not there anymore.
Right.
That it's not the location.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it as a huge deal myself.
It's not.
I just think you guys, it should have been negotiated, some sort of deadline as to having a
We
sign.
did our,
Okay. Thanks, Sherry.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Anything else? Okay, then we will get into the proposed action items. First one up is designating approved inspection agency for electrical inspections.
Leg?
Handle.
Like a handle, all in favor?
I,
Opposed? That's passed. Number 2, authorizing contract, zip codes, eligibility verification assistant, Eva.
Lavera?
Rivera. O'Connell, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's passed. Authorizing memorandum of understanding between Greene County Department of Human Services and Catholic Charities.
Handle.
Renew
Handle. I don't know.
Can I just ask a question? What is the savings here? How much is the savings?
We're gonna save the full-time employee that we had as a volunteer coordinator. We'll save that position because they already have a volunteer coordinator at this, under this, contract. They're getting grant funding for that volunteer coordinator for Greene County.
And they're going to be sure that they're gonna be doing this from 2025 until 2030?
Well, I mean, we can cancel at any time if we feel like we're not, they're not meeting our expectations, but at this point, the contract's really just for us to reimburse them for mileage. So it's not like we're giving them actual money, they're gonna be giving us a bill for the volunteer mileage that was put in for medical transportation and for, the volunteer friendly visitors program, which we're already paying. So it's just shifting the resource to them to reimburse the volunteer versus us reimburse the volunteer directly.
So we're still paying volunteer mileage, plus the 80,000?
No, the 80,000 is just for volunteer mileage.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just
Contract is
replacing
up
who,
to.
up to 80,000, yeah, because that's what our, I looked at historical spending on volunteer mileage, and that's what we spent, so this is just reimbursing.
And what if they don't get this grant? Then what happens?
No, they already have the grant. They got
have
a,
for-
they got a,
For 5 years?
they got a 3-year grant, so that's why we just wrote it as a 5-year, and if they don't get renewed, then we end this contract and we go back to figuring out another alternative for volunteers.
Thank you, Sharon.
Okay, anything else to come before county services?
We didn't vote on it yet.
I'm sorry, I think that's good.
No, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
All those in favor?
We had,
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. Anything else to come before county services? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Adjourn. Thank you. That's good.
Okay, I'd like to do a public works committee meeting at 6:30
6/16, so you can see that. You can see. Mr. Vermont, thank you here from our highway superintendent, Scott.
Well, with busy construction season, going through some of the federal and state aid bridge projects that we currently have in the design right-of-way phase. County Route 40 is still underway with right-of-way. County Route 61 bridge project that we tentatively had scheduled for at least getting the temporary structure in, unfortunately was delayed quite a bit. We are wrapping up right-of-way, so we should be getting into the construction phase for that project shortly, and hopefully getting that out to bid and getting a contractor on board. The other two, Spruceton Road and Saybrook Valley Road bridges are currently, one in preliminary design, and we just received, federal authorization for the Saybrook Valley. The Culvert New York and Bridge New York projects, the Plaquemine Road Bridge project is still scheduled for 2026. We should be having another public meeting for that one, information meeting, hopefully next month. We're just trying to work through a couple of the logistics on that one before we put out the public meeting. County Route 3 in the town of Halkett as well is scheduled for 2026. We're going through the right of way. Hopefully we have that one right away wrapped up by the end of this month. Some of the local projects, 100% funded locally. County Route 2 culvert replacement project in the town of Prattsville. We just had it paved, so we're probably 2-3 weeks ahead of schedule. We're going to try to get this one open by the end of this week. If not, very early next week. Balky Road Bridge scour repair was completed, as well as the 23B driver feedback school zone signs in the town of Caro. There was some delays, but we finally got that one up. So, and it is working. Hopefully it actually serves a purpose of slowing the traffic down. It is. In the town of Caro.
It's working. Thank you.
Scott, I have a question on that.
Yes.
Do they count on the side, when they go through, it says we have to go down to 20, but they're going through at 45. Does that ever capture that information?
It does not. That specific one does not. It doesn't do any traffic counts or any of that information. We're still working on tweaking the program itself, so when it goes over a certain speed, it'll flash red.
Okay.
It does have those options. We're actually working through the
That would be
program.
fabulous. Because they are blowing through at some point.
Yes, unfortunately, it's
working pretty good though.
No, it is.
I'm there in the morning and they're slowing right down, they're creeping through there. So we'll see how long it lasts, but
right.
it's taking effect at this point.
The 23B Leeds Main Street Improvement Project, the public information meeting is scheduled for Monday, October 20th at 6 p.m. And that's going to be at the Inn at Leeds in the back room. Hopefully we have a good turnout, especially from the local businesses in Leeds.
Have we put it out to them? I know it was in the Porcupine Soup.
We put it in Porcupine Soup, we put it in the Daily Mail, we put it on our website. Hopefully we get, the word is out there. I was hoping that with your social media.
Well, if I knew about it, I would. I mean, I read it in the Porcupine Soup, so I would suggest maybe we do an email blast, out through our county system. I mean, we send out these newsletters. Why can't we send an email out saying,
James? Got it.
at least it gets out there that way. Some people don't read the Porcupine Soup, some people don't read the Daily Mail, so. And if they know to go to the website, that's fine. Not everybody's going to a website.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of you have a large social media.
I will certainly share it this evening. Free of charge. Free of charge, that might be.
I don't know how that works.
Not run by the county.
County 61 slope stabilization. Unfortunately, we did some cost estimates with the preliminary and we pretty close to getting the final design on that. They came back at over $3 million.
Which one's got?
This is the upper one. This is the two that
The northern one.
Yes, exactly. There are two of them, the 300 feet section, and just below that, there's a 200 foot section. The estimates were far exceeded anything that we originally had expected. So we're gonna have to look at that one a little more closely.
But Scott, there were 4 slides that we had noted.
Correct.
Yeah, 2-1 kind of.
There was 2 on that one. That was that kind
Right,
of
and
lumped
there's
together.
here in Casco, was there?
One and one.
2.
Oh, yeah, the second one's over.
So
There's 30, there's one on 23B, there's actually one on 47, there's one on 61, or several on 61.
are the other projects engaged with cost estimation?
We haven't gotten this one, these two, 23B in Jefferson Heights and the 61 were our 2 largest ones. So
Okay.
we wanted to try to get estimates on those to see how much money we have left over for those other ones. I didn't want to spread
No,
out
but
stuff
that's
too
where I was
thin.
going, because if we need to add more money to it, Keith and I had a conversation today about closing down books for the fiscal year, that we're gonna need more money.
And that's a question that I would propose. I mean, how much are we willing to go on some of these slides? And as far as costs, they exceeded our original estimates.
Well, what's the alternative? Are not doing it, we're gonna leave the road.
I mean,
It's gotta be fixed.
Do you lose the road?
I should say it has to be
And
fixed.
can you explain, what is the work that's being done on in Jefferson Heights?
currently right now,
Yeah, I know it's not us, but
Central Hudson is replacing all those overhead, those towers. It was a lattice tower that existed prior to, what they just removed. They're now putting in a monolithic tower to replace the power lines. So there's,
and they have no issue with the bank.
no, that's further down towards Snake Road. That's almost right at the entrance of Snake Road in 23B.
Which is outside of our consider.
Yes, it's south of our.
Did you happen to take a look at the material they were pulling out?
Yeah, it's clay.
Why there, it's
Dog
not
clay.
building sand?
So it won't affect our work then.
No, we were hoping to actually do it at the same time, but like, we didn't get any bids on our project, so. And like I said, our time frame was a little aggressive. We wanted to get it done by the end of the year. And I think that scared some contractors away and availability. Paving program, we're trying to wrap up paving this year. We still have a couple more roads on the mountaintop, but we're pretty close. As well as equipment and purchasing of vehicles. In the solid waste department, we have all the contractors on board. Hopefully they get to mobilize by the end of this week or next week and get that project started at the Casco Transfer Station. Any questions?
Are you, what are you thinking next year on, the household, waste collection? Are you still trying to do two?
We had around 280 vehicles in Athens this year and 170-ish in Wyndham. I don't believe it would be worth it to have 2 events. I think 1 event would probably be sufficient. I think we can see gradually as the numbers come further and further down. I mean, it's a fairly expensive event. And maybe we can rotate one on the mountain one year, one on the valley another year.
Gotcha. And what are you looking to do on the, slide on County 23B there in Jefferson Heights? Are you trying to rework your bid specs at all?
We're trying to reevaluate some of it, as well as, I know that it was a timing as far as putting it out there.
Yeah.
A lot of the subcontractors that tried sheet piles weren't available. They were all booked to the end of the year. So I think that was one of the biggest issues that we had.
Would you then think about putting it out to bid now, so maybe?
It is, yeah.
Or something?
Probably December, January-ish, put it out. So when the contractors are wrapping up their 2025 projects.
Yeah.
You had in your report assistance to municipalities, equipment hauling, what
Yes.
does that entail?
We have considered a lowboy truck. We basically provide, our lowboy truck to transport vehicles all over the place, whether it be to the service location or,
So the municipalities wouldn't have to pay to get it there, we're doing that for them.
that is correct.
We do the same thing with the tree truck and things like that.
Correct.
You
It's
know?
part of shared services that we do.
Yes, when you say tree cutting is, are you still have that out? for
We,
A position?
we unfortunately do not allow, we don't put out our tree truck anymore because, we don't have a tree cut. Somebody that can do it.
Is there a certification
There
required?
isn't a certification, it's a skill that they have a certification for using the bucket truck, but other than that, we had one person, he moved up to a, highway working foreman position, so he was unavailable to. It's difficult to get, we have a lot of employees that can work the smaller bucket truck, but the larger bucket truck is, it's an interesting, difficult piece of equipment to use,
Because of age or just because of complexity?
because of the height. You're 100 feet in the air with a chainsaw.
Okay.
A lot of them can use it. The smaller bucket truck, they're okay to use. It's the larger one that you start getting into more difficulty removing trees, branches.
Scott, can I ask a question? So regarding the shared services with other municipalities, is there a way for us to quantify what that would be?
We've never kept score, kept dollars and cents as far as how much one move would be over another move, or if we,
Does New York State quantify the low boy cost per hour for services? Like we do trucks and.
I'd have to look into that, I'm not sure. We've never used the state on something like
No.
that.
I only asked,
There's a rating, like Children's Magazine for those people who remember
Yeah.
Children's Magazine.
I mean, I ask because we get asked questions all the time about what is the county giving back to the towns? Well, we're providing these services.
Correct.
So
Yeah, we've done.
there's a way to put a number on that, like, look, we're giving you these services, which it would cost you if you did it on your own, X amount of dollars.
But the towns also help out the county at times too, right?
Right.
I mean, that's why it's called shared services.
Yeah, I mean, we've had, in Carroll, I think when the snow flies pretty heavy in Carroll, we go out with our trucks and haul it out there. We've been doing it for years. Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time.
Yes, and we've never had any sort of we've never quantified it before.
No, it's a
I
hedge.
don't even know where we would begin.
Same pair of pants, different pocket.
I know, Scott, you really stepping up to the plate with Carol over the last 4 or 5 years. We shared a lot. I mean, it seemed to be, we did more for them. Oh, I mean, I don't know if you put a number to it, but there was a lot of work you guys did.
No, actually, I only asked because, but we're
Yeah,
hearing
it's-
from taxpayers being like, the county doesn't give anything to us. Right, give us money back, give us sales tax money back, so forth. Well, here are the services that the county providing, and as part of a shared service. So, you know what I mean? They only see dollars, they're not actually seeing the shared services that are being provided. That's why, that's all. You lost control.
You know,
We woke up. Woke up.
No, we got 4 questions to ask you.
I just
All right, I got 3 proposed action items for tonight. First one, authorizing the chairman of the Greene legislature to assign the Community Development Institute Head Start to this agreement to store services for children and families.
Martin.
Martinez and Handle. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 2, resolution of the Greene County Legislature determining that the action to execute the County Route 40 Maple Crest Road over Batavia Kill Bridge replacement project is an unlisted action and will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment.
Dorrington?
Like,
We're in like,
Mr. Leg? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. authorizing advertising for bids for operations of the 2026 household hazardous waste collection event.
Right.
Right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Anything else?
We have a motion, I'm sorry.
Motion?
To adjourn. Dorrington? Need a second?
Why not?
Oh, Dorrington, okay, sorry.
We are closed.
Yeah, I, yeah.
I would like to open up Economic Development Tourism Committee at 6:32. I can ask James to please give us a quick overview.
Thanks, Daryl. Good evening, everyone. There's 4 proposed action items on the agenda tonight. The latter 2, items number 3 and 4, are annual items to come before the committee regarding the Tourism Promotion Agency designation we have to make with the state, have it on record through a resolution. Number 4 is authorizing an application pledging matching funds for Isle of New York funding. I know that these come up every year. There's no significant changes or anything expected down the pipe. That would be outside of what is considered normal. So if you have questions on that, I'm happy to answer. The other 2 proposed items are the official authorization of the lease to be held with the Workforce Development Board of Columbia and Greene counties. As you know, they took over Suite 434 on the 4th floor. They're all moved in. We just want to make sure that there's a resolution on record. And finally, our EPA Brownfield Coalition assessment that's been kind of locked up with the feds for almost 2 years, finally got loosened. We were able to receive a cooperative agreement from the EPA to allow us to move forward with our Brownfield Coalition assessment. So we would just like an authorization to allow us to solicit bids for consulting services for what is called a Qualified Environmental Professional, or QEP. It's mandatory through the program. There will be most likely a budget amendment to account for the 1.5 million reimbursement funds that would be coming from that program too. You can expect that next month.
And do you have any, are you cautious at all that maybe some of that money may be clawed back that you're thinking that you're going to have for this study? And then we'd be left holding the bag? I mean, where is this money, this fund's coming from? Some budget, you hear on the news a lot of Lee Zeldin, they're cutting back, taking back, certain monies that were slated for expenditure through the EPA. I didn't know if this might be in that category where we might be, on the fence of it being pulled back or something.
If I had applied for that funding a year later, I would say I would be concerned about it. We were awarded in November of 2023. I was notified of that award then, and we didn't get funding until September because we had to go through significant changes within the application itself, scrubbing a lot of language and making it more applicable to the current federal administration. The good side is that I've spoken with the Region 2 EPA administrator who's stepped down from Commissioner Zeldin. And luckily, this is a program that has a lot of support from this federal administration right now. The idea to clean up and remediate brownfields, put them back to productive use is something that they support. So to answer your question, no, I'm not concerned about that.
Dave, what are the requirements that on our end, for accepting this money? Other than this year having this position, this RFP put out, to receive the funds, is there stipulations to that? We have to do it in a certain way.
So within the application, we identified about 4 tasks that tell the EPA how we plan to spend the money. The vast majority of that is done through the proposals of phase 1 and 2 environmental studies to be done on approximately 20 different properties across Greene and Columbia counties. On top of that, additional funding to be spent on redevelopment proposals, larger plans. As long as we are submitting reimbursements that are attached to documents that show that that work was done, the funding would come pretty quickly within, I'm told within a week of submitting the applications. Typically with many of these programs that we work very closely with, you sign a cooperative agreement and they give you a release of funds letter and you have a process. It's not like that. The EPA says you applied, congratulations. You don't even have to sign this cooperative agreement, but it has details listed in it. So once you submit the costs, the EPA determines eligibility. We work with a QEP who knows this stuff inside and out. So that timeline between the submission of the materials to a check coming back to the county for reimbursement is low.
Is it Superfund money under EPA or is it back?
Well, this would do the diligence work to declare a site a superfund. So you're paying for the phase 1s and 2s and the remediation to understand the level of contamination, and that would dictate the superfund.
Just for Mike's benefit, the Superfund money is also the source of the funds for the country of states. And the water improvements are in Scotch Rock. We're pretty good with that. Under Superfund money, once you're approved under Superfund, there is no reductions on dosage and that kind of stuff because of the environmental contamination. So, I'll pass with confidence.
Any other questions for James?
Yes, please. So James, if you can just help me understand, what is economic development and tourism's role with the Carroll Senior Center project?
From a planning perspective, an environmental review perspective, it's been our role as the department has played for other capital projects in the past.
So does that include using any funds allocated to economic development tourism for any of the projects that, like, whether it's engineering or anything for that?
Well, we have a line item.
You're forgetting planning.
Huh?
You're forgetting planning as part of it.
Okay, but if there's money that's allocated through a capital projects fund, why would money need to be taken from your budget for that particular planning then?
So this is the first capital project that I've worked with the department, so I have not gone through the motions
So
of.
let me answer the question. We don't take money from his budget and place it in the capital budget.
So how did,
This is an administrative review only.
so how did invoices from Catterskill Engineering end up being under his department and not under the capital funds project?
It was, and there's two things to it. The review, planning and the economic development department has often been the catch-all for departmental participation in a capital project. Warren, his predecessor, would often be the lead agent for seeker and those types of evaluations. So they get involved up front until let's say we have a construction manager in place who would then process invoices. The specific invoice you're referring to, he approached me past Wednesday, even though the deadline for the AP run was the previous Friday. Third. So it was the first invoice from the consultant. He asked me can I process it, even though it's after the date? I said, yes, process it. And if necessary, we'll do a journal entry at a later date. Purely perfunctory administrative reason. That's it.
And now has that practice been done in the past?
Yeah, we've done that a lot of times.
So if during the finance audit, I didn't catch that, would that have been corrected?
Yes, because it gets audited by the treasurer's office and then eventually audited by our independent auditor.
But wouldn't it be easier and more efficient to just do it the right way the first time under the capital funds project?
Absolutely. It was, again, I was heading out of town. He caught me at the last minute. I said, just process it. Just boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are we allowed to pay
a bill for a building that we don't own. Are we allowed to do that? We don't own that building. Why are we paying?
It's a joint project between the town and the county.
We've never stated it as a joint project.
Sure, this was the resolution.
So we passed a resolution to fund $2 million or whatever it was.
2.7,
We took the lead.
300,000 from the town, 500 from the grant, and the balance from the town.
And I understand we were taking the lead. That was always up front.
And we declared lead agency. And we're in, yes, we are making an improvement to a town-owned facility.
Yep.
So then any other municipality could put this request in and we would be taking the lead on improving their,
Not every municipality, this particular one we did.
If they're providing
And that was
service that the
all,
county needs.
before you were elected, this was passed.
I know, I was here for that meeting.
So this was all out on the table, that the resolution passed, the county was taking the lead.
The service is all the county.
Nothing.
We will be servicing
Yeah,
the
we
county.
often act as lead agent.
One more thing we do to the town.
Is there anything else to be brought up? Thank you, James. If there's nothing else, then I would.
So,
What?
I just want to mention, I had the need to drive to Florida this last couple of days. I stopped at 2 different rest stops, one in North Carolina and one in Georgia. There on the wrapper brochure was the Great Northern Catskill Mountain
Of Greene County.
Greene County handout brochures.
And you didn't bring them down with you, then.
I did not bring them down with me. They were there. Surprised to see them that far south.
We have a pretty large outreach. The tourism girls don't mess around.
So speaking of tourism, can you line up for either the next meeting or in December, having somebody from workshop come in, like how they do with the tourism advisory committee?
Sure.
And explain the services and the numbers and the growth that's happening in the county because of tourism, so that the body can understand where that money is being allocated to.
We actually did that a couple of months ago when we were doing that application we had that in the park. On the point where the guy was coming in with the computer and he showed where the money was being spent and everything else. We did have a presentation like that.
When was that?
You're talking about Gray Fox.
Yeah, no,
The
the one at the point, that's when we with the guy with the credit cards. He came in and showed what money was being spent around the county because of that one.
Yeah,
that one event.
This is something different that I'm asking.
That was a tracking.
That was tracking.
Right.
There's, that placer AI, I think.
This is different.
Yeah,
This is not that.
I would be more than happy to have some from workshop come in. I'm working with them right now for us to, if you do recall, we did have that placer AI presentation. We're looking further into finally establishing the metrics that will allow us to tie money that we spend on digital ad programs and how those are impacting impressions and eventually people coming to the county. There's a way to set that data up in that tracking. So we are working on a larger system in general to better track that. But I can definitely have someone from workshop come in.
Yeah, like what was last presented at the tourism advisory committee meeting, we had this conversation about that. I think something like that, what they're presenting at that workshop should be presented to the body so that they understand when we're going through and they're seeing X amount of dollars going to Lake Placid or Cathode Ray, where what that money's being used for and how it's turning into sales tax dollars for the county, the increase in tourism and all that.
Yeah.
I think it'll be beneficial for everybody to see, and even for the taxpayers when you're watching and listening to the replay.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That'd be great. I'd be happy to bring someone.
Thank you.
They did that they did it years ago. They haven't done it recently.
Any updates on the?
You're basically asking an audit of the advertising companies you're using to promote. Figure out, are they really spending your dollars in South Carolina or Florida or wherever on their ad buys or whatever? You just want to have accountability.
You
So,
want to see the return. You want to see how much money you're spending with the company and what is that translating to?
right.
That's absolutely fair.
And are there plans for the Welcome Center? I know we've been talking about this for, making the entranceway a little bit nicer.
There are landscaping plans with that. Yeah. So I can get you some more details.
And we talked too about,
Fence.
boosting the internet wireless capability down to point vendor fairs and, you know.
Yeah, so that,
The wine and cheese, was that done yet? Or-
yes, that was completed, especially ahead of the concert and Catskill series that we had. We had a partnership with Mid Hudson Cable to amplify, I should say amplify the availability of Wi-Fi down there, but to also create separate networks for the vendors themselves.
Created separate network, so that the vendor's POS would have its own line.
Yeah, so that can't be intruded on by the public and therefore affect services.
So, just to help me understand, so we're providing the Wi-Fi services down at the point in Catskill.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another one.
That's good to know, because again, when they're saying the county doesn't do anything and provide any services to the village of Catskill or any other municipality, well, there you go, we're paying for
I
the
think
Wi-Fi.
Dutchman's Landing as well, correct? Didn't we put in Wi-Fi in Dutchman's Landing parts?
Cameras.
So we paid the parking lot for them.
Well, that our section, right? But I'm saying, I think the Wi-Fi went in down there
I
also.
want to be careful with that one because the installation of the net gear was gonna be on the poles, the
Mhm.
lighting poles. And I think there was, problems with, the wire connectivity. I'm gonna have to go back to notes to see if the Wi-Fi was just connected and improved at the snack shelter or whether it encompassed the entire parking lot. I gotta check.
I think the last time we were there for an event, I connected to the Wi-Fi.
For an event or just there?
No, I was at an event.
At an event, okay, I just can't, I know there was concern about point of sale at the concession stand. But I remember people were just gonna repave the parking lot, we weren't gonna cut and drag wire to poles. I'm sorry, thank you, Scott. Remember that?
We did not, when we paved that parking lot, which the town of Catskill, village, we didn't put any Wi-Fi, we didn't run any conduit going to those. There was existing conduit for lights, but we didn't put any additional for communication.
So we're under a major project right now in Carroll, Town Park with Mid Hudson. They came in with free Wi-Fi years ago when we had COVID. And as Sean said, that there's a lot of events down there where the vendors need to scan your card. And it wasn't a secure system. So now Mid Hudson's came back and we had a meeting a month and a half ago, and they're gonna enhance that whole Wi-Fi in Carroll Town Park for the town of Carroll. And that's a monthly charge and very, very reasonable. And they maintain the cameras too. They're actually putting cameras in too. And if a camera breaks, they'll come back and they'll install a new one. And the monthly fee is very reasonable for the Wi-Fi extension that's secured in the cameras.
The town is paying for that?
Town is. Yeah. The town is. Not sure if it's going all the way through, but we had 2 meetings now and they.
I just didn't know if that had been
They
done.
made some installations. But they had to, there's too many events down there and they need that.
Well, that's what we were having at the historic point, those events.
We paid for Catskill, we did, the legislature.
Well, that's county owned. The
Well,
historic Catskill Point is
I'm
owned
just,
by the
it's what
county.
he's saying, it's.
I'm asking about anything that, I was under the impression that we were also covering Dutchman's too, which is village, right?
Correct.
Is
We
the
own a
camera
parking.
system, does the camera system run through our Wi-Fi out there? There is something that we're providing, it might be the camera, John. Thank you.
So no other questions, we're gonna push on. To the proposed action items. Number 1, authorizing lease agent, County of Greene and Columbia Green Workforce Development Board. Second, leg, and we'll leg. Authorizing, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Either none, so carried. Authorizing request for qualifications for Brownfield Coalition Assessment Consultant.
True.
All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed? Either none, so carried. Designating official tourism promotion agency.
True.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Either none, so carried. Authorizing application and pledging matching funds out of New York twenty twenty-six.
Lennon.
Handle.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there none? So carried. If there's nothing else to
Motion to
bring,
close.
second, all in favor? So carried.
Evening, I'd like to open up government operations at 6:54. Before we go into the resolutions, Director Ward of Real Property Tax is going to make an announcement.
Just one quick announcement, if you haven't hit it yet, on September 15th, we launched our new PROS, stands for Property Record Online System. It's linked to our web map. Before it used to be ImageMate. It's been very successful, well received by the public. So the easiest way to get to it at this point is if you're using our web map and you click on a parcel, it's going to take you to our PROS site. I mean, there is a direct link out. The two sites interact with one another. It's a little different layout, a little different user. One of the nice new features of it is we're now able to display all taxes that are initially generated, not what's due or what's paid, but where before we could only do county. So now we're able to show school, village taxes also. The whole note structure works. The whole workflow within our department has eased because of it. So I just want to let you know that we did a soft launch on September 15th. But we've heard virtually no complaints from the general public and our clients that are using it. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay, number one, resolution in support of Congressman Nick Langworthy's Energy Choice Act, HR 3699 S.1945 in opposition to government mandated natural gas ban.
Second.
Committee, can I
I
take?
believe so.
Definitely.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, number two, amounts due to county treasurer by respective towns. I'll second that. Anybody, is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Number three, establishing equalization rates, 2025.
Like,
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed?
Aye.
So, opposition, Lucas, thank you.
Is there anything else to come before government operations?
Chairman Davis, does human resources fall under your department, under your purview?
I do not believe so.
I mean, human resources.
Oh, actually, yeah, I do believe they do.
Human resources does.
I do
All right, a
believe
couple
so.
things. I went into HR today. I asked them about our paramedic scholarship funding, and they still haven't gotten any definition or whatever it's gonna be that makes it an airtight document for the expenditure of these funds. We still have gotten it, going on 3 months. And kind of shooting ourselves in the foot if we're looking to do something with ambulances. And we don't have any way of having our scholarship handed out to people who might want to come here. So I don't know what that's all about. I think that's nonsense. And then two, I asked how the process worked for them advertising for positions. And I'm gonna use a position. We have Kevin leaving us. And I don't know why we haven't placed an advertisement for budget director for Greene County and Ed. Start seeing if we can find somebody. And then 3, I asked on retirement, how that system works and what human resources role is. Because we did receive, sheets on our management confidential. And they explained to me how they just take the request paper, retirement paper in, then they pass it along to the treasurer's office, and then the treasurer is responsible for getting that information to the state on the retirement system and handling it after that.
We have a fund that all retirement funds that are paid by the county come into. And then that money is distributed per the formula that the state provides from the controller's office for payment. And we make payments on that. I don't remember if that's a monthly or quarterly, but it is, we have a particular fund, one of our 100+ funds, that all that money goes in.
Yeah.
And then that, based on what we're directed from the state controller's office,
Yeah.
we then make those payments.
But you in your office notify the state of someone's intent to retire to start collecting retirement.
That now you're in an area I don't know. I'm talking about money.
Okay.
Who does the paperwork? That's somebody else. That's not me as far as I know.
Okay.
And it actually falls under Sheriff's Committee.
Yeah.
Oh, human resources?
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. Wasn't sure of that. I thought you, right.
Primarily, I believe we handle the money,
Gotcha.
but I'm not sure about the food process, someone retirement process request.
Just to clarify, Sean, you might be able to answer this, do the scholarships for our EMTs, does that go through human resources?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be a function of, we're still banging out the contract that
Right.
people would have to sign. There's a lot of legalese involved there. I do have people who are already calling me, who are already engaged in the total skill program. I just said, we're working on it. Keep your receipts, because the resolution did include in-service people, not just someone who may go next semester. And I've actually gotten $5,400, I want to say, in tuition reimbursement requests for the program itself. The secondary program of the EMTs, which is a program we give directly to the council. They have come back to us and requested another year's contribution. I've held that up for 2 reasons, because one, I know they just got monies refunded by the state. The state will refund them a portion of the cost to provide the training for an EMT certification. So if they already have that money, you need both sets. But in order to get the county money, they also have to provide information back to us of how many people enrolled, how many people were successful, and we don't have that. So they're going to put that information together.
And I do know the legalese is very complicated with how we're going to get them to work here.
Well, their ability to not jump ship and, move to Timbuktu and on our.
15 months each year.
Right.
4 years.
But also, let's presume somebody goes through the plan. What agency do they go to? And that's a little complicated, because if one agency has a real need for a paramedic, but I live in this town, I want to work in my town. So we're trying to balance out some of those quirkiness, if you will, to make sure that reimbursement contract, and it is a binding contract, will be upheld or challenged or whatever. So, yeah.
I think we just did an update to an administrative policy when it comes to our people working here. If they're doing higher education, that they get reimbursed, and as long as they're, I don't know how it doesn't mirror something like that.
Yeah, but even
I don't think it's complicated at all.
but working in a town and living in a town, that's called commuting to work. You don't necessarily have to work in the same place you live. that's.
No, as long as it's in the county.
Right. You gotta drive your job. 90% of us do that anyway.
Hey, Mike.
I'll be delivering a draft of an agreement sometime next week.
Sooner we get it out to these colleges to see if we're going to receive anybody to sign up for it, the better off we are, so. Great, thank you.
Okay. Our treasurer would like to say something?
Mike, Ray just helped shed some light on it. The application goes to the state, it's the part of the state retirement system, just like the controller tells us how much we have to pay. So it goes to the state. It's not processed in-house.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody have anything to come before government operations?
Motion to close.
So we will have another resolution coming forward. I don't think it made it for this month, but, to have the state take their state ready inmates and get them out of our jails.
And increase the fee structure.
Yes.
Do they still pay up to 10 days? They pay us at 10 days?
They pay, but we want the rates increased. As well as the, I believe the length or whether, but we got also for ambulatory services. But the prison system will pay our agencies. Already people out.
Okay, I have one motion to close from legislator Lang.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Frank, you gotta vote on it, all in favor.
What was that?
We never voted on it.
Oh,
You don't have to vote on the motion or close. Make a motion, somebody says, that's it? Yeah, not, the whole board doesn't have to
Yeah, we
approve.
voted on the.
You can learn something every day.
You know? That's my education. I heard that, James.
I'm not voting.
Not bad.
All right, good evening.
This.
Mac, you ready?
Here's my first one. Okay, my fellow board members, and residents of Greene County. 21 meeting going on here. This time I officially released a tentative budget for Greene County for fiscal year 2026. As is our practice, that is being presented tonight, 14th of October, Finance Committee meeting with a public hearing scheduled for October 27th. Hear that, Joe? The development of this year's budget has been more difficult than usual due to potential fiscal changes from both federal and state governments. This is much uncertainty as the federal government is currently shut down and while the state will not address budget reductions until after January 26th. This leaves many unanswered questions that may very well compromise this financial plan. Absent these dilemmas, this tentative budget will not result in any property tax increase for fiscal year 26. Once again, the overall property tax levy will remain at $27,404,370. This is same levy amount as fiscal year 2020. That is a remarkable accomplishment, one that we should be proud of. Overall, the budget expense line has increased approximately $5,670,000 or 4.17%. However, if we adjust for known changes being made by federal, state, and just factors in county expense increases, growth is only $3,870,000 or 2.8%. Some of the significant changes to expenses are payroll increase subject to collective bargaining agreements and inflammatory increases. Increased costs in social service on unknown changes that the federal and state budget have instituted. Retired fees, pension obligations, and health insurance costs
These exact expenses can be viewed in the tax spreadsheet. The other side of the ledger, revenue increases have been gained from sales tax receipts, interest earnings from investment yields, and mortgage taxes. Currently, sales tax receipts continue to rise each year, and they remain our primary source of revenue. As past budget messages have outlined, at some point soon, we must determine where the apex sales tax receipts may lie. While the property tax levy will not change overall, once again, the amount to be raised by each town does, based upon adjustments made by New York State, and a town's equalization rate, 8 out of 14 towns will see a tax reduction, while 6 towns will experience an increase. This reality is driven by real estate market activity as compared to town assessing practices and is outside of the control of the town. This change is consistent with previous year's adjustments. There is a central message to this budget proposal and the overall status of county fiscal condition. This proposal once again holds the line of property tax increase while not sacrificing the budget to future threats. Our establishment of reserve funds and property tax stabilization funds mark sincere efforts and accomplishments. The number of previously approved capital projects while using idle funds to support outlines of our use of funds outside of bonding and future debt. We have invested millions of dollars in direct services level facilities that our community needs. Many of our primary buildings have been replaced or improved with additional improvements pending. Improvements have been accomplished without property tax increase, which is truly remarkable. This release of the tentative 26 budget legislature will now hold its annual public hearing Monday, October 27th, and present this funding plan to the community. Trust the community will once again embrace the results of this fiscal plan that provides no increase in property tax. Respectfully submitted, Jose Martinez, District 2, to the south, the garden spot of Greene County.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
There. Yes, fine. So, on with the agenda. Great. Okay, finance. 16 proposed resolution. Now, if you keep still, will probably, I mean, not you, I guess, it's gonna be the first lieutenant.
Oh, I've got
Yeah.
questions, Charlie, I've got questions.
I got a few questions.
You're not gonna answer. Okay.
See about that.
Greene County Legislature. Assignment, Community Development Institute, Head Start, CDI, HS, lease agreement to after services for children and
True.
that's true.
Davis.
David second, all in favor of that?
Aye.
All the results. Number 2, authorize request for qualification of brownfield collision assessment consultant.
True.
Davis.
True, Mr. Davis second, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 3, authorize application and pledging matching funds. I love New York 26.
Davis.
Davis?
Later.
Linger, second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 4 is authorizing lease agreement, County of Greene, Columbia Green Workforce Development.
Davis.
True.
Who's second? Very good. Well, that's also carried. Number 5, authorizing contract, Greene County Emergency Medical Systems, Inc.
Later.
Linger.
Davis.
Second, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's all.
Opposed.
And Rivera and Bulich and Ludo. Sorry, I can't see down the line. That's fine.
Right?
Yes.
Over. Yes.
I vote yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Number 6, authorize a contract, Greene County with Greene County Emergency Medical System, Inc. for the town of Pelican.
Leg.
Blake, second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Number 7, authorize a contract, Technical Eligibility Verification Assistant, EVA.
True.
Davis.
Davis, second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. 8 is authorized memorandum of understanding between Greene County Department of Human Services and Catholic Charities.
Davis.
Dave,
True.
Drew second, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Oh, that's all. Number 9, authorized agreement, Greene County Public Health, Healthy Alliance Foundation, Inc., EVA Healthy Alliance.
Davis.
David, who's second?
Later.
Lincoln. Favor?
Aye.
Oh, that's carried. Number 10, authorized agreement, Greene County Public Health and Columbia County Community Health Care Consortium, Community Health Need Assessment, Community Health Improvement Plan.
True.
Drew?
Davis.
David second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Oh, that's all carried. Number 11, appointing Carl Counts, Commissioner Liaison, Officer, Greene County Emergency Service. Second. Lincoln.
True.
Drew seconds that. Mr. Davis, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, that's awesome. 12, Mount Dew, the county treasurer by respective towns. I'd like to make that.
Leg.
Blake second, all in favor of that.
Aye.
Oh, that's also carried. 13, establishing equalization rates, 25.
Davis.
Dave,
True.
Drew seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 14, amending resolution number 268-25 is amended, authorizing the treasurer to accept late redemption and repurchase offers relative to the 23 MREM foreclosure.
Davis.
Leg.
Davis, who second?
Leg.
Blake. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's all. 15, budget amendment, UL settlement 25.
Davis.
Davis,
Rivera.
Vera, second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. 16, authorization to pay claims highway.
Davis.
True.
Davis, Drew second. All in favor of
Aye.
that? Opposed, that's carried. Number 17, the final one, for the treasurer's report, authorization to pay claims.
Davis.
Davis and Leonard, I heard. Mr. Chairman, just a quick question on that before you vote. Was on the general audit, was that changed then when it comes to? So that's now been stricken from economic development and is in the capital.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Have with us tonight, treasurer. Okay, so news, hopefully.
Good evening, everybody. Greene County payments on delinquent taxes. In summary, the collection of delinquent taxes in September of 25 totaled $738,417.48 compared to $621,795.83 in September of 24, or an increase of $116,621.65. Year-to-date payments for 2025 collections are $7,147,012.59 compared to $5,104,980.45 in 2024, or an increase of $2,042,032.14. Greene County delinquent taxes, in summary, the amount due Greene County for delinquent taxes as of September of 25 totaled $516,890.43 compared to $9,304,642.66 in September of 24, or an increase of $212,247.77. Greene County analysis of 2025 sales tax. Sales tax received to date for 2025 is $39,674,192.19 compared to $37,636,740 for 2024, or an increase of $2,037,452.19, or 5.41%. Greene County Town Collection status. Total due from town collections this year was $36,879,474.29. The payments received from towns for current taxes totaled $26,748,886.08. All 2025 delinquent taxes, which total $6,077,449.93, have been turned over to the county. Delinquent taxes turned over to the county decreased by $300,827.28 in 2025 compared to 2024. Some of you may look at that last section and say, why is there 6 million been turned over to us, but yet there's 10 million due, just over 10 million? That's your taxes that the county bills directly. So that's going to be your state land tax and corporate taxes. So we bill that directly. It's the reason why it's not turned over to us by the townships. We continue to work to improve our rate of return on our investments. We made some headway again this month on that. We've been able to look at accounts that were yielding between 0.08% and 1.5%. And we've been able to move, today we moved about 15 million. And it's going to increase our return on those funds by about 350,000 annually just on those monies. So we continue to use the vehicles and tools available to us to talk to our financial institution partners. And when they can't meet our need and the results that we need to provide to our taxpayers, we give them an opportunity, and then we move accordingly to do what we need to do for the taxpayers and our budget. So we continue to do that. So our interest is continue to accumulate, and we have all our projects. The project's been a lot of talk tonight about projects. So we have our interest being accrued on projects as well as our general aid fund. So we continue to work in that direction with all our funds to maximize those numbers.
Keith, can I just ask a question regarding all this? Since we're on that topic. So with the interest that we're accumulating on our investments, that those monies are being reinvested back into those funds, right? Correct? Like
Just to be more specific, what funds?
Into the investment. So the interest that's earned is just being reinvested back into the original investment to create compounding interest?
Yes.
Okay. Can a portion of that money be used then to go back to the taxpayer or to fund other projects? So we don't need necessarily to have, this $3.87 million just on a county expense increase, not have to be distributed out across the taxpayer, but can be a portion of those interest earned be used.
That's up to you. You have money in your coffers. You want to distribute it to the taxpayers in any form you choose to. That's your right.
Okay, thank you.
Keith,
okay. What I will say is the reason why this county is in the financial shape it is and the improved bond rate is because of conservative fiscal management. We have gotten here not by accident. So you can do whatever you want. I can tell you off the top of my head, millions of dollars that when we stood here a few months ago, we had not budgeted for. But you will be facing, whether you pick ambulance, whether you pick additional costs for slope stabilization, whether you pick costs for CMS,
and monies that are not coming down to the federal and state government, you guys are gonna have a decision. So it's just a matter of what you want to do.
So that's why I asked last month, I asked in our email, where is the list of what we have in each of the funds?
What kind
You
of
told
funds?
me you were gonna have it for me tonight.
I did.
What kind of funds?
And we
Maybe
don't
I can
have
help.
I just didn't finish it.
What kind of funds? Maybe I
I'd
can-
like to know what we have in each of our fund balances.
Well, we have over 100 accounts. Do you have an idea of where you want to head with it?
Yeah.
Because I have some information for you. I can give you general stuff. We have about $53 million,
could go through-
$53.8 million in, projects.
Find it.
So that money is in the treasury. Those are monies you guys have already voted for. So if you take the mental health building,
So
you
we
pay,
have a fund balance policy fund, we have a property tax stabilization fund, appropriated fund balance, bridge and road reconstruction, highway equipment and facilities reserve fund, general facilities maintenance, debt liability, emergency services equipment fund, departmental vehicle fund, information technology, encumbrances tied to purchase orders, donation program restricted, economic development tourism, not in spendable form, pension and other prepayments, Batavia Kill, mental health building, solid waste equipment and facilities reserve fund. Those are the funds that I requested last year that you gave to me.
I'm just trying to. There's dozens and dozens of those individual numbers. I'm just trying to.
Well, that's our
mash
fund
them
balance.
together into categories of, let's say, vehicle replacement.
Right, I would like to know what we have in our fund balance. That's what I think you're talking about.
well, I'm talking about general treasury monies. Like for instance,
I'm not talking about payroll and all that. I'm talking about what do we have in property tax stabilization funds?
11,400,000.
And all the rest of these, well. Right, so we had 11,400,000 last year.
At 12/31, correct.
Right, but then we had excess funds from sales tax that were factored in after 12/31. And now we're gonna have another projected 9 point whatever million this year that's gonna happen probably next February.
$9,279,533.
That's projected.
Projected.
Right.
We're now at 5.41% over budget.
The policy of 7.5%, 15% of the operating budget. So that would be around $17 million.
Well, we have fund balance policy last year was 32 million.
I don't know if that's an aggregate number or a combined number, but.
Oh, that's what
But
you
we've also-
gave it to me last year. I have
So
it.
these numbers are from 12/31, then during the fiscal year.
Right.
You applied fund balances to some of these capital projects, so that would have
Correct.
reduced the number.
And that's what I'm asking for.
And that's what I'm trying to put together for you is, because we've done a lot of projects. And
To me, it would be an Excel spreadsheet somewhere that would have that.
that's what I'm putting together for you.
Did you say, did you say this year with the million fund that we're gonna be drawing all the million over project?
Well,
And then.
I'm a little aggravated.
Wow.
I agree with it.
Did
A little aggravated.
53.8 million is the amount of money I'm
Yeah, I
holding
was
for
nice.
projects you guys have offered.
Right, so we're gonna draw off of that. for this
In
project.
theory, that'll all be spent.
Right. And said I would have it tonight.
And now that includes interest on each one of those accounts. That's been allocated back to each project. We don't break that out. Those funds are commingled. That's how we get a better interest rate on it. Everybody gets that, what I'm referring to there? So we take all that 53 million and then we go to our financial institutions that, and remember, we got 3.1, so 3.1 helps us determine our cash flow or ebbs and flows. So we know at any given time how much we can invest safely without going past any of our financial obligations, so that we have revenue available when we need it. And it's also, we can make money on our interest when it's not needed. So we're managing that. That's what we're trying to manage. So, but I do have 53.8 million put aside. Now, can you guys spend 53.8 million? No. Because your balances the amount of money you have approved for a certain project. Okay, you can't exceed that amount. So if you do have change orders and et cetera that may run you above that, you will still have to come back to this body to approve to spend beyond what you've already approved.
Now, Keith, all I was asking is that of the interest that's being earned on that 53 million or so for it, instead of continuing to reinvest that interest back into that fund, that we did 53 million, if we could take a portion of that to cover 3.87 million of the increase, plus we're looking at, according to the property tax exemptions for persons of 65 years of age or over, and the veterans exemptions, which was going to total about approximately $624,651 that had to be redistributed back amongst the current taxpayers, even though the tax levy isn't increasing on a percentage basis, but this dollar amount is going to be redistributed across all the taxpayers. If we're accumulating all that interest without touching principal, can't we just take a portion of that and take 624 and say, take $4.5 million of that interest, so the taxpayer doesn't have to come up with more money to pay on their taxes?
You already have.
I don't think legally that we could say, we're gonna take this money and we're going to put it for people who pay less.
No, it would be across the board for all county taxpayers.
Taking your entire budget.
But your county taxes haven't gone up.
Dollar for dollar they have.
Sure they did.
We just had a workshop back in August, when Ray Ward was up here, and we all talked about, yep, we're gonna give veterans an exemption that were 100% wounded in action, active duty, and persons 65 years of older, that total tax levy they weren't gonna have to pay for anymore was $624,651. That, he said, we all heard it, that money's gonna get redistributed amongst the rest of us that are paying taxes. Though the tax levy on a percentage is increasing, but that money is coming from the rest of us. So if we're accumulating all this interest on our investments and all this sales tax revenue that's coming in, why can't a portion of that money cover that property tax money that we have to now account for, as well as this $3.87 million in the increase in budget? That's all I'm asking.
And my short answer is, I haven't formally reviewed your budget yet. It just came out tonight as far as I know. But I believe over $2 million of that interest is already in your budget.
Okay.
Of course.
But just saying.
I don't know the exact number, but I believe it's maybe 2.5, 2.7, in that neighborhood.
Okay.
So I believe it is being applied.
But there's enough interest being earned that we could cover it all.
Well,
Yes?
again, you have projects that are earning
Right,
interest.
but without touching the principal, because there's already principal money allocated to those projects.
If you want to take from the projects, take money that potentially is accumulating interest at that and move it into something else, your body can do whatever you choose to.
Then if you have change orders, then we're gonna have to go
Right,
back.
but what I'm saying is it's not touching the principal that was already allocated to those projects. It's the interest that's being earned on those projects, just the interest, and not even all of that interest, a portion of that interest.
And I think over the
A
years,
portion of that interest is already
How much of a
in your
portion?
general fund.
Because
That's
that
conversation.
$2 million would, off the top of my head, bring us down on average about $50 a person.
Doesn't matter what you do with the dollar.
If I
Let's have
may,
that conversation.
there's already
Money
in
should
the
go back
budget
to the
formula, $2.4 million of interest earnings that's being used to reduce budget for the county.
And that
There's already a revenue in the budget formula, and it has been increased since Keith took over and the advent of 3-in-1 and how we invest our money and making sure that we get the highest yield. So that interest income is already factored into the budget as it is proposed every year.
And I will clarify further to say that that number exceeds the interest generated by the general fund. So you have highway, road and machinery, and all of those individual accounts, they generate interest too. But at the end of the day, we do not generate 2.4 million in general fund. Is it kept as general proceeds, but then allocated by my office? Yes, because that's how we maximize our return. But the numbers that Sean just mentioned are not the numbers we're making in interest off the general fund. Our number is below that. Right now, my projection for 2025 is 2.25 million. And that's current projection as of this month.
That's your interest?
That's our interest off of the general fund, not off of projects, not off of highway.
Not to cut you off, Keith, and I appreciate all that you're doing and how you maximize the rate of return.
I'm just trying to explain where your money is.
But to me, in my opinion, whether it's general fund money interest or this project's funds interest, interest is interest. And when it's accumulated together, we're over whatever the general fund interest is going to be. There's a lot more money being earned in interest, not touching principal, that could cover any equalization increases to those, what do we say here, 8 towns? We're going to see an increase of their taxes. Yeah,
Decrease.
yeah, an increase.
Decrease.
Eight decreases, 6 increases. So there's not enough interest being earned total out of all of the money. You just said it's all pooled together. So those 6 towns wouldn't have to have an increase.
That's a bad.
That would take at least
We could
$3
do that.
million
We can,
out
when it comes back around years from now, it's
to
gonna.
bring, everybody would have
About cutting
down by 8%.
Years from now.
Okay.
So,
I'd say no.
And based on what it was last year, for 3.5%, I'm going to estimate that would take at least $3 million out of our budget
all.
to bring the highest down.
Just throw out more fear mongering.
so to answer this specific question, you have every town receive a tax rate reduction. So not just 8 and 6, but all 14. We would have to add another
Yeah, the same
$3 million of revenue to the budget equation. To have the smallest town have just enough of a decrease, but to say they have a decrease, and then you probably have a town with 10%.
No, over 20.
So,
Are you showing me numbers here that we're gonna be 9.2, almost $9.3 million projected over anticipated sales tax revenue? So that $3 million that you're throwing out there, well, we're gonna be losing $3 million. Well, we didn't estimate for 9.2 million.
You're estimating.
And we're also giving out $2 million.
you just authorized this year a capital project for the road signs of $8 million. That came out of fund balance. So at year end, in order to maintain our policy, I've got to restore that money, and that money is gonna be restored from the annual surplus that we gain from both a combination of revenues in excess of estimate and expenses under threshold.
And given Scott's report tonight, one slide is $1.2 million more than the estimated.
Look at Kyra's report.
One slide.
Kyra's was 2.2 million, we're gonna be.
Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. We have the authority to do it. The question is it a good idea?
It's not a wise
Is it
idea.
use of taxpayer dollars
Yeah.
in the overall?
You know, it's a great idea, guys. It really is. But in all honesty, you have to realize, number one, you don't know what's coming down the pike, and you know there's always stuff breaking.
We go through this fight every year. You know how much money we have in our fund balances?
We got them right here.
No, we don't have that information. We don't have that information. We
All
should
I'm
know,
saying
we
is
should
that-
know what money's in every one of these funds.
That's a bad precedent.
And
We are
it
right
was
to
this
set.
board that
That's
established
why it's gonna
all
go,
these
Hey,
funds.
come on, you guys, I know you got all this
This
money.
board, Sherry, before you
saying.
got here, established all these funds.
No.
Yeah, we did, because we saw what was going on and we put all these monies in reserves.
Right, well, that's fine, but all I'm saying.
He's not talking about reserves, he's talking about
Let
interest.
Sherry finish talking, Matt.
That's
That's
okay.
not fair
That's all
to
right.
talk
No, that's
over
okay.
her.
Let the
her
boys
talk.
I wasn't finished talking either.
Let the boys have it. Okay.
Look, at the end of the day, this is what you have. I'm not a policy setter. I don't choose what you guys spend your money on. I will do whatever you ask me to do. I'm doing the best I can to manage whatever I have today. And I will do that tomorrow, and I'll do that the next day. but it's whatever you guys choose to do. So, I mean, if you came to me and said, I want $3 million, can I give it to you? Yeah. It's just a matter of what else you're gonna have to face, and that's not my purview. All I can do is tell you where I think we are. You can accept the information or not. I mean, I think we have headwinds coming at us. I mean, hopefully it all goes away when the feds figure out what they're doing and it all works out and the state somehow figures out a way to match their or fill their budget shortfall without passing it to the county. So whatever you want to do, I'm here to help you do it. But I don't know the answer. Do we have $3 million? I can give you the answer. Yes.
And that's all I was asking.
Yes.
And Keith, I think you're
it's-
doing a fantastic job.
Well, but it's obvious we have $3 million.
Keith, can I ask you-
Everybody in this room knows we have $3 million, right? All right, so it's just a matter of, like any one of you do on any other day, you look at your personal budget, you have to look and say, what do I have coming at? If it was us standing here and we were, people looking at, at our children saying, we have college education coming. So we're gonna start thinking about what that college education is gonna cost. Just change the words, slope stabilization, ambulance, CMS, mental health. I mean, just pick it. But it's up to you guys. But I'm just gonna do the best job I can to manage what we have. But then it's up to you guys. All right, so the short answer is yes, we have $3 million.
Thank you.
We have 30 million, about 30 million?
No, I don't.
Yes, go ahead.
So at the town level, every year, we always had a unappropriated fund balance. And if the unappropriated fund balance got too high, the state would say, why is it so high?
Mhm.
I assume the county has the
Yeah.
same thing, so
Yeah.
if we had this absorbent amount of fund balance, the state would come down and say, hey.
We're
what's going on
within the
here?"
state parameters.
Right, so we're good,
We're within the state parameters.
thank you.
And we're here because what you said, very conservative moves over the last 20 years.
We're where we plan to be.
I just think where Matt's coming from is, as part of the budget process, we should know what money we have. When we're looking at a budget, this stuff document, there should be all the fund balances and the dollar amount we have in our kitty, in our savings account, just like if you're planning ahead for expenses in your own household, you wanna know what you got. That's all.
Sean, you're gonna provide that in the spreadsheet.
Yes, I'm just trying to organize it,
Right.
so it makes some sense. I did.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Keith.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Everything's good.
Anything else come before tonight?
I have some questions. I have some questions. Actually, no, we can close out of finance, but I have questions before we adjourn.
Well, that's it.
Okay, so. When someone is in an appointed position, and help, again, I'm new, I just need help understanding these things. Again, as I'm going through audits and seeing numbers, this is part of the budget process. When someone's in a management confidential appointed position, and they decide to retire, who are they to notify? I know it's not necessarily what Mike was saying, that, okay, they submit their papers and it goes to Albany or HR, Treasurer's office, whomever. Who are they supposed to notify? Do they notify the department heads? Do they notify the people that appointed them? Like, what is the process for that?
State controller.
No, they're here.
It's internal.
Internal.
Oh, internal, I thought they meant retirement purpose.
No, he's asking for retirement. So someone files for retirement,
Right.
they. I'm gonna presume the person goes to their department head first. Then
Okay.
fills out the paperwork at HR.
Mhm.
Okay, and that paperwork is then filed with the state. That person themselves has to go to the state for determination of their own pension and all the options that are available to you under the pension system.
All right, so
No, I mean, Mike, I mean, I just, like I said, I ran into HR and Nicole told me that they received paperwork from the individual, whoever, and then it goes to the treasurers. The Human Resources doesn't notify state at all or anything.
Right, but forget the state angle of it.
Right.
So internally, now is HR, is it their responsibility to notify that department head of who that person works under? Or is it up to the person, the employee that's retiring to notify their supervisor? What's the procedure for all this stuff?
I just advised you that if the
It's
person,
internal.
it's internal.
Okay.
See, HR is not the payroll processing unit. That's a function of the treasurer's office. Benefit administration is within HR. So there are many hands that will touch what we call the personnel change form, CF, which is the first domino that falls. Notify the system that somebody on such a date is going to separate from county employment. Then the whole recruitment process commences with the first, where I challenged, is the position going to be refilled? Can the position be downgraded? Can the position go to part-time? Or are we going to replace it as it is today?
Mhm.
Then the civil service or the union position or the union rules take over. Does the position have to be posted internally? There's a myriad of processes that may occur at the same time.
Okay, now, a second question, I don't know if it's necessarily connected with it or not. So when raises for department heads or MC positions are decided, not accounting for COLA on that, who decides those raises and how are they based? Is it based on performance? Is it based on seniority? You know, a particular dollar amount, percentages? Help me understand these things. I'm just trying to, again, I'm going through things here and I'm just trying to make sense of what I'm saying.
Management confidential is a prerogative of myself as the administrator.
Okay.
Unions, it all goes by the union contract.
Okay. All right. Can we go into it? I want to talk about some particular individuals, so we'd like to go into executive session.
And that is 43.
Does anybody else have a little business that they want to bring before the committee? Or before we?
I also want to make sure that everyone received my email about the ambulance, Montgomery County. Not sure why it was pushed to November. That sheriff is available on Wednesday, the 22nd, so I would like it back.
Yeah,
I just let you know, he didn't need it earlier.
Thank you.
I need a second for example.
I'll say.
When I was hiring, but I,